All right, let's begin our last section about graphical techniques. So when we use a graph, we are telling a story. And you want that to tell the entire story of your experiment, whether it includes the trend, all the data points, everything that you collected. You should be able to get a nice, short summary of visual summary of your data, and that's what's going to be important. So remember that we're looking for a trend, all right? And I want you to make every effort to emphasize that, whether it's a scale, whether it's your uncertainty, whether it's anything. Please try to do that. And we use it to support our conclusions. Don't just draw a graph because I asked you to. Put a graph in there so it supports the conclusion. All right, that's extremely important. A good graph can make a difference, at least 1 or 2 points on your IA. That's the 1 to 7 scale. All right, so it's a big difference. So make sure it has a title and it has a labeled axis, and it has the quantities, units, and uncertainties. You use an effective use of space, the sensible linear scales. The points are plotted correctly. So you normally will do a scatter plot. What I don't want to see is just a line like that, where you just basically, it doesn't actually have the points on it. What it should have is the actual data points on it. All right. And then you can add a trend line to it. When you do that, your computer will actually allow you to add an equation to that trend line and an R-squared value. That's going to be important, okay? And then the error bar showing the uncertainty is going to be important. Now there's an extra lesson on how to do that, so I'll let you know. All right, so it's imperative to do on the y-axis, but helpful on the x-axis. What I mean by that is we need this one right here, but helpful if you do this one, okay? So on this one right here, what is missing off of that? Take a second to look. So check it out. First off, it's missing the uncertainty. Okay, here and here. Since these are quantitative values, they must have some kind of uncertainty. We're missing some kind of R-squared value for these trend lines. So each one would have an R-squared value. That R-squared value is telling you basically how valid it is. Use the computer to put that in there, and you're good. So what I don't really like here is you see how the scale right here is like, doesn't look very pretty. It would look better if it was, this was 100 and then 200. Oh wait, 200. It's hard to tell if this is an actual straight up scale. So if it went from 0 to 800, I don't like this, and I would deduct points for that. Now, of course, for hertz squared, that is just a simple mistake, but you might want to check that out. Let's see, it's got a good title, a standing wave on a string. Sort of, maybe you might want to revise that title. Maybe the frequency in relation to the temperature tension, right? That may be what you're looking for. But I do like the error bars. Here it's telling us that if we are somewhere inside of our uncertainty. So see right here, we're outside of the uncertainty, so we're probably got some systematic error to it. So that's kind of what we're looking at. That's why we have error bars, is so that when we plot the trend line right here, if it falls within the error bars, within the uncertainty, then we can associate it with random error and hopefully limit the error. All right, so now the difference between a sketch is just a simple graph, basically you'll see me only draw sketches most of the time. Just have a title, general scaling, labeled axes, put a line of best fit, and then a label your specific points. So just like this, a Maxwell Boltzmann distribution, they could ask you to draw that. And what you were trying to show is that the area under the curve is the same for either one. And that's the kind of trend you want to go with. You need to make sure that you do label each one of these, maybe a title whenever you draw it, and also have that legend right there. That's going to be helpful. You notice how this one had a legend too. All right, that's it.